Hi everybody, this is Yosair from BoyMeetsPhone.com. What I have here today is the Motorola Photon Q. This is the newest 4G LTE device to hit Sprint. Taking a hardware tour, up front we have a 4.3-inch QHD color boost display. This uses Motorola's color boost technology, and we'll get a little bit more into the display later on in the review. There is no physical Android buttons on this device because it does rely on using on-screen buttons. Above the display, we have the earpiece grill, and right above the earpiece grill is, like right around here, is going to be a LED status light. It's a bar style light, and it lights up rather brightly, so it's good for knowing if you have a notification at night. In a dark room, it's highly visible even at a distance. Right beside the A in Motorola, you'll see a proximity and ambient light sensor, and in the far corner right here we have a 1.3 megapixel fixed focus camera, and it does shoot HD video. Taking a look up the sides, we have a micro USB port and a micro HDMI port. Up top we have a 3.5mm headphone jack and a power screen lock button. I feel like the power screen lock button sticks out a little bit too much. I found myself hitting it accidentally when reaching into my pocket, so that's a minor annoyance, but it is an annoyance. The volume rocker is on the other side here, and it is nicely defined. I also like the nice texture they put on it, and it offers good feedback. Right underneath the volume rocker we have a covered port for the micro SD card slot. Grab that. See the micro SD card slot right there. We also have a physical camera button, which is something you rarely see on devices nowadays, so it's nice to see. Taking a look around back, we have a 8 megapixel autofocus camera that shoots full high def video, and it does have a single LED flash next to it. And right in the bottom we have a speaker bar. The battery is non-removable and is behind this plate here, and it is a 1785 milliamp hour battery. The Motorola Photon Q gets the Q in its name for having a slide out QWERTY keyboard. It is a island style keyboard, or chiclet. It is a very nice keyboard, easy to type on. I also like the fact that it is edge lit, so each individual key has a light around it, is lit up behind it, so it makes typing in the dark rather easy and an enjoyable experience. My one issue with the keyboard is there's no Android buttons on the keyboard. I mean, it is a 5-row keyboard, so part of me would have really liked to have seen the ability to, go home right on the keyboard. Instead, you will have to reach up and touch it. It's a minor thing, but it would have been nice to see. Much like the Droid Razr series of devices, the Motorola Photon Q has a nano coating inside and outside. So this does not offer full water protection. It will make the phone splash proof, which means if you're walking in the rain or walking near a sprinkler, you won't have to worry about the Motorola Photon Q getting wet because it will still remain functional. The Photon Q has a QHD color boost display. It's at a resolution of 960 by 540. Because it has the on-screen Android buttons, you do lose some of the viewable display, so it cuts down the resolution to 880 by 540. The color boost technology makes the colors very vibrant, and it does a really good job. I really do like how the colors are produced. However, you'll notice when you are looking at pictures you've taken that they will have a slight yellowish hue. It's because it makes the colors more warm. Once you take the photos off the device, you'll notice that you won't have that yellow hue, but especially when I first got the device, that threw me off a little bit, how yellow some of the pictures came out, but it is just because of the warm colors the display produces. The Photon Q is running Android 4.0.4 Ice Cream Sandwich. Motorola didn't change it up too much. They did change up the lock screen. For lock screen, you have the option of turning your phone on silent and turning the sound back on. If you press the unlock, what you have is 4 options. You can either go to the phone, the camera, text messages, or unlock it. You don't have to slide to the different options. You can just press and then press to unlock. Now we're at the home screen. You get only 1 page to start off with. It's nice to see that because sometimes people don't need 5 pages, so they give you the option of just having 1 and adding how many you feel is necessary to have. Motorola does add the ability to quickly look on what's going on in certain apps, which is nice. Just swiping up on it will bring up the list of certain things. Like in browser, it shows your bookmarks, and email, it shows your emails. Phone, it shows your recent calls. People, it shows your favorite contacts. And in text messages, it shows you what's going on in your text messages inbox. Swiping this way, you have the option to add either a blank page or use a template. The templates, there's only 2. There's really not much there. It would have been nice to see a couple more, but you have the option of adding a blank template and making it your own. Pinching N gives you an overview of your pages, and lets you add a page from there too. It's nice to see how they did this. It kind of just basically zooms out all the way and gives it to you in the same view that you would get it if you're just swiping through. It doesn't stack them on top of each other. It just has them in a line, which is nice. It's different, something you don't usually see. Usually just stack them on top of each other. Jumping into the app drawer, you see that this is a stock ice cream sandwich app drawer. Swiping all the way will bring you from the apps to the widgets, where you can tap up here. And you also have a link to the Play Store. As far as apps go, neither Sprint nor Motorola added too much here. You do get Quick Office, so you can edit Office documents and view Office documents, PowerPoint, stuff like that. You get Sprint ID. This does use Sprint ID, so you can download Sprint ID packs and change up the look and get wallpapers and widgets specific to that pack. You have Sprint Zone, which gives you your access to your accounts and news from the carrier. You have Vehicle Mode, which gives you this warning not to use when driving. Stay paying attention to the road. And it basically makes it a easy to use interface, so you can quickly do things when you're in a car. And it also has the option of linking Bluetooth. Back. And you also have Smart Actions. Smart Actions is a Motorola app which will, under a certain set of conditions, will trigger actions. So hit plus there. So say you want to have some templates right there, like for the workout one. Once you plug your headset in, it will launch to play music. They have templates, and there you go. They have templates, and you can make your own custom ones, so you can set whatever type of triggers you want. I did find that when I tried to use the location trigger, it did not work that well. However, every other trigger I used worked very well. It would be nice to have that work better. I found that as soon as I set up the trigger with location, it would just, as soon as I finished setting it up, it would just do it. I wouldn't wait till I was at that location. But overall, I found that Smart Actions was a very, very cool addition to this phone. As far as connectivity options go, in the Motorola Photon Q, you have a few here. For data, you do have Wi-Fi 802.11b, G, and N support here. This does support DLNA, so you can share videos and pictures to other DLNA enabled devices, and this also does work as a Wi-Fi hotspot. For cellular data, this does run on Sprint's EVDO Revision A network for 3G service, and it runs on their LTE network for 4G service. Unfortunately, during my testing, I was not able to try this phone out in a LTE service area. However, 3G speeds were about average for Sprint in my coverage area. Your data speeds will vary depending on how the Sprint coverage is where you are. As far as other connectivity options go, this does have Bluetooth version 4, so it supports profiles for audio streaming, hands-free headsets, physical devices such as a mouse and keyboard, as well as several other profiles. There is also NFC on this device. Unfortunately, NFC is not currently working for Google Wallet, or Google Wallet doesn't currently work for this device. I reached out to MasterCard to figure out if this was not certified for a reason, or it just has not been through the certification process, and I have not received a reply back yet, at least as of the time I was recording this review. But Android Beam does work, and NFC does work. I have a NFC tag here. NFC does work on the Motorola Photon Q. The Motorola Photon Q is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Plus series system on chip. This is the MSN8960 chipset, and that consists of a 1.5 GHz dual-core Crate CPU and an Adreno 225 GPU. Along with that, there is a gig of RAM on this device, and there's, as far as onboard storage goes, you have 4.58 gigabytes free for your apps and games and music and pictures and such. You can also add up to 32 gigabytes of memory using a micro SD card. Performance on this device is really good. It's not going to seem like the snappiest of things in the world, especially when it's flicking through menus. Apps opened up quickly, but when you're truly going to get a sense of how good this processor is when you're multitasking. It handles multitasking and having a lot of apps open at the same time very well. You're not going to notice any lag when it comes to doing a lot of things at once. As far as sound quality goes, the sound through the earpiece is very loud, very audible, no complaints there. When using the speaker on the back of the device, I found that when you're on a call, it kind of has a scratchy, you kind of hear like a scratching, hissing sound in the back. However, when you're listening to audio, it is very loud and very clear. I'm not too sure what is causing that, but that's how the audio is on this device. As far as battery life goes, I was only able to test this phone in a 3G coverage area. I never got a chance to do any 4G battery life tests. But for 3G, I was able to get an average of 19 hours out of this device. So you should be able to get through a day using this device. As far as web browsing goes, on the Motorola Photon Q, you have two options pre-installed. First off, you have the stock ice cream sandwich web browser. Motorola did not change much on this browser, except for the fact that from the icon you can swipe up and bring up your bookmarks. Other than that, this is a stock version of the ice cream sandwich browser. Clicking right here will bring you into the settings. Clicking right here, before the phone starts loading, will bring you into the tab view. Clicking in here on the tab view, you can open incognito tabs. Jump over to boymeetsphone.com. Show you how pinch to zoom works. Pinch to zoom works very, very smoothly on this device. So does scrolling. Because this device was released after August 15th, you will not find Adobe Flash support. You could sideload Adobe Flash, however you will find that performance might not be 100%. You might find some slight hiccups in the performance. As another option for web browsing, you have the option of using Chrome. Chrome does come pre-installed on this device. As far as the layout goes, it's not much of a difference from the ice cream sandwich to the Chrome web browser. You have your URL up here, your menu right here, and then you have your tabs right here, but the view is different. It's a lot more animated on Chrome. And also, one of the benefits of Chrome is if you use Chrome for your desktop and on any other device, you have access to those tabs as long as you're logged in using your Gmail account on all of the devices, you have access to all of those tabs from any device you are on. So that's an added bonus to using Chrome as your everyday web browser. Taking a look at the camera application on the Photon Q, I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that you can't launch the camera by pressing and holding the camera button from the lock screen. You can do it when you're in the device. If I unlock the device and do it now, I'll launch, but you can't do it while on the lock screen. So you can open it from the lock screen by tapping here and pressing camera, so that's nice. Taking a look at the layout, we have a switch to change from the 8 megapixel rear facing camera to the 1.3 megapixel front facing camera. We have a on-screen shutter button. You also have a physical shutter button right there. I have to say that it is impossible to half press the button, which is a little bit annoying, so you can't like half press it to focus. Which normally you find a two-stage camera button on devices like this, but it seems to be a single stage button. Right here we have a switch to change from taking video to still, and vice versa. Right here, if you're tap right there, you have the option to zoom in. You have a zoom bar right there. You can also, by default, use the volume rocker to zoom in. As far as settings go, you can change the image quality, well, the image size from either 6 megapixel wide screen image or a 8 megapixel still image. You can change the function of the volume rocker, so either zoom in or capture images. You have geotagging, and you also can change the storage location. I'm not too sure about why they would give you an option of using the volume rocker as another way of capturing images when you already have a physical shutter button, but that's neither here nor there. Here you can change the effects. Right here you have your scenes. You can either change from auto, portrait, landscape, night portrait, or sunset. You have your different modes. So you have single shot, panoramic, which will stitch several shots together, a multi-shot, which will take 5 shots in quick succession. So, see. You have a timer, which you can set a time delay before it takes the image. You can change your exposure settings, and if you don't have it set on multi-shot or anything else, you can change your flash. You either have it set on auto, always on, or off. I have to say, as far as image quality goes, the focus is this phone's Achilles heel. It just does not focus well. Color reproduction is nice. It's a very, very fast shutter, but the focus is what kills this camera. It just does not do the best job at focusing. As far as taking video goes, in the settings you can change from taking a full high-def 1080p video to a 720p video, a DVD resolution video, VGA resolution, and QVGA resolution. You have a lot of video resolution options, which is nice. Again, you can change how the volume rocker acts when you're recording. Turn your geotagging on and off, and you can change the location if you have a SD card installed on the device. You can add effects, change the audio scene. There are several mics on this device. There's a mic right there, and there's also a mic right here when you slide the keyboard out. And for audio scenes, you have the option of stereo, a REN reduction, and concert audio scene. As far as video modes go, you have normal shot, video MMS, and a time-lapse video, which is pretty cool to be able to take time-lapse video on the phone. You can change your exposure, and you can also change how the LED flash acts in the back. You can either use it as a light or just have it off. One of the cool things while taking a video, you can take images. It's nice to have that function built in. You can also turn the audio off in the middle of recording, and then turn it back on if you want to. and you can also zoom in. It does support tap to focus, but it only will focus on the center, so you can't tap to focus in on a particular area. Overall, I found that the video quality on this device was not that bad. I really liked the audio. It does a really good job. And the wind reduction actually did do a good job in reducing the wind noise in the background. I did have an issue with the frame rates on one of the recordings, but overall it usually kept it around 29 frames per second. There was a slight issue where it kind of like for a couple seconds got kind of hinky, but overall I think the phone does a good job with video recording, and they also will record 720p high def using the front facing camera, and does a good job changing the light conditioning, playing with the light conditions with the front facing camera. But since it is a fixed focus camera, you're not going to see any focus changes. It does a good job with details for a front facing 1.3 megapixel camera, and it's nice to be able to video chat in high def. After spending some time with the Motorola Photon Q, I have to say that Motorola really does know how to make a great keyboard. This device has one of the best keyboards I've used, and if you're looking for a phone with a great keyboard on Sprint, you can't go wrong with it. However, the camera on this thing really does need improvement. I'm not too sure if it's the software or the hardware. My money's on the software, but Motorola really does need to step their game up when it comes to their cameras. Processing wise, this phone is great. It handles multitasking really good, and the layout and the UI and everything really shows that Motorola believes that Google did a good job with Ice Cream Sandwich, and it needed little to no improvements. For the full in-depth review of the Motorola Photon Q, head over to the site blamingphone.com. Remember to like me on Facebook, like this video, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and to subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is Yasarin from blamingphone.com. Thanks for watching.